All right. This is a video I didn't really want to make, but there's this show I love on Netflix. Anyway, okay. The show I love on Netflix is called SCHITT' Creek. And it's made by Eugene Levy and Daniel Levy, his son. And I am a huge fan and connoisseur of good sarcasm. And this show nails it. They have scenes where the only three people in the scene are all like sarcastic, comedic geniuses. And I can't even keep up. I rewind it more than I let it play through. So well done. I can't even take it. Okay, that said, I saw a commercial for a movie. Doesn't matter what movie it is, but they're trying to do this. Oh, poor women way back. Why? What are they so afraid of? Men trying to keep us down. What are they so afraid of that we're gonna find out how to? It's like, holy crap. Okay, so there's a lot that I don't share, and there was a lot that I didn't share from a Spanish grandmother. I channeled her for a video, which was great. I love her, and there was a couple times in the video I'd been drinking, and I said, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say that. She was very patient with me. It wasn't fair that I said that I wouldn't share it when I'm channeling her and I'm not actually getting the information out that she's asking me to get out. I'm triggered right now because I channel people who lived way long ago and they're watching women now acting like they're all empowered, and it's so empowering to bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch about how bad women used to have it. And the women that they're bitching for are talking in my head going, oh my God, they have no idea what they're talking about. So the Spanish grandmother, let's start with her. She says, you know, and I'm going to use her words, and don't take it personally. The reason that I don't say everything that these people tell me is because I'm afraid to trigger people. Not conservative people, actually. They're harder to trigger. Conservatives are hard to trigger, and I'll tell you why. Because when I talk to a conservative person, whether it's a client or a person just random on the street, anybody, they try and listen to what I'm trying to say. They really try to listen to what I'm actually saying. So they listen to my heart. And even if I say something that they're they still stay with the conversation. Whereas my liberal relatives will scream in my face and shut me down. So I don't talk, I don't want to hang out with people. And here I am, and I'm walking around and I'm able to hear all this stuff and I have to listen to these people complain, and I don't want to set them straight because I don't want to fight. And one of the kids that died December 14th, he said, he told me, he says, you don't get to just know what you know and keep it to yourself and share it with one person at a time. You're supposed to share it. You're supposed to teach it. It's not just given to you to make your little life easier and one person at a time in your little room. You're supposed to tell people what you're getting. You're supposed to share this knowledge. Okay, so he says you got to come down out of the tree and start teaching. So I have to be unafraid to trigger people and make people mad by telling them all this stuff that I don't know why I can hear this stuff. I don't know why it's happened. I don't know why it's happened to me. I've always enjoyed it. And then I keep to myself because I have a happy little mind. And I see all these people out suffering, like little wind-up toys. They're put in this fear mode, by the news. And then they're made to think that if you just figure out the right march to go to, and if you figure out the right thing to put on a sign, and if you figure out the right thing to chant, you're going to change the world. You're going to change the whole world. If you complain loud enough, and if you complain the right way, you'll change the world. Yay! And that's your ego. That is just your ego. Reveling in us versus them and loving to fight. You don't get anywhere. You don't move the world forward in any positive direction with anything other than love. I say everything is done in love with love. I mean everything positive. All forward movement is done in love with love. We've fought wars here and there. Granted, things have gotten bad. People have gotten squeezed. I stood on the beaches of Normandy, and I stood in the burial ground, the American soldier burial ground, acres and acres and acres of 19 to 21-year-old dead white males from the United States of America. I think there was maybe 13 black men or something. Okay? And then women today keep talking about women then. Women who lived then. The ones that buried their brothers and their boyfriends and their sons in Normandy, France. These women that had to bury their sons, their boyfriends, and their brothers in Normandy, France. You think those women were victims? You don't know what you're talking about. They didn't have Netflix and cell phones. They didn't. Oh my God. Life was so much harder then. It would blow your mind. And so you're looking at that past time with the eyes of today, thinking that those women and those men just sat around like staring at the freaking cell phones and scrolling through their apps. And the women are just like, I want to own property. I want to vote. I'm telling you, these women were like, they're in my head, and they tell me life was hard for everyone. We all tried to do the right thing all the time. There were men and women with alcohol problems. There were men who lost their wives in childbirth. There were women who just couldn't take it and they shot themselves. And there were alcoholic men that couldn't take it. My grandfather, was an alcoholic. He drank his paycheck away. And my grandfather's brother had to pick up her paycheck. That sucked. But my grandmother kicked him out. And her family took all the kids. So they all lived in different homes until they could get back together. My grandmother was the custodian of my mother's school. So if I thought I had a social dilemma growing up, my mom would set me straight and say, let's say your mom is pushing a garbage can down the hallway. Do you pretend you didn't see her? Or do you say, hi, Mom? She's like, that's a real social conundrum. Anything that you have is like, doesn't even compare. Okay, Mom, you win, you know? Life was so hard then. And someone on Twitter today was saying something like, with this third wave feminism thing, how it's gone off the rails and blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's because the focus is on victimhood. They focus on victimhood, not their own victimhood. They're talking about perceived victimhood from 100 years ago. These are the same people putting on vagina hats and saying, we won't go back to the 1950s. And like, that's all been, you know, very entertaining for me. You know, you won't go back. You're marching, saying you won't go back, yet you keep looking at women who lived before you. They can't hear these women, otherwise they'd hear what I hear. And they're just whining and screaming about victimhood, 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 and then they're acting like they're so empowered. And they put these shows on, you know, these shows about Emily Dickinson saying, dude, I'm talking about when I go in the other room. Yeah, like Emily Dickinson ever said, dude. And you know, the brain and the eyeballs work a certain way. So whatever you're watching on television or on your screen, it gets perceived through your eyeballs to your brain, and you think, you may say, oh, I'm just killing time. All you have is time. In the meat suit that your soul has chosen for you, the most valuable thing in the entire world is time in this meat suit. Whatever your meat suit looks like, whatever it is, that's the most valuable commodity. People are chasing money, and they're chasing empowerment in a way that is so ridiculous to me. They're bitching about being victims as their ego says, yes, girl power. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, as a girl pilot, it was not easy. A lot of people did not want me there. Okay? But I didn't give them a choice to want me there or not. I didn't care if they wanted me there. I was there. I am here. I am a pilot or whatever, you know. I was where I was. I worked my ass off to get where I was. I had a captain, which we called dinosaurs. All the men who didn't want the girls there, we called them dinosaurs. We had a name for them. And girl pilots bonded over this whole situation. We were not victims. If we were victims, we wouldn't be good pilots. You don't want someone whining with a victim mentality in charge of 280 lives, shooting an approach to minimums in London. Oh my God, it's so simple. It's so simple that it fries my brain. You cannot bitch about being victims or pointing out victimhood, and think that you're empowered and be right. It's not right. It's not true. You're lying to yourself. Your ego is lying to you. Your ego is lying. I had a guy today on Twitter say something about, I don't know what I said, dude, that's your ego. And if you don't let go of what you think you know, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to become insane. And he said, I don't know what Buddhism or something else has to do with whatever. He said, but as soon as Trump's out, then I'll go back to breaking my ego. He didn't say breaking his ego, but he said something like killing his ego. As soon as Trump's out, I'll go back to killing my ego. And it's like, okay. Put your peace on hold and blame Trump all you want. Put your put your love on hold and put your peace on hold and put your anti-ego work on hold, you can do all that. I know I'm way off topic right now, but oh my God. So, back to the dead women that lived a long time ago. The Spanish grandmother, she said, and she's very grateful that I've come back around to this. She says, children were our priority then. Children were the priority then. Men and women worked together and they used their strength. And yes, men's jobs and women's jobs were very cut and dried. It was men weren't better than women. In fact, in her experience, women were way more important. She says, does anyone forget that? Is women and children first? It's always women and children first. Whenever there's when the Titanic was going down, any kind of a thing, women and children get out of the fire first. Women and children first. She's like, we were put first. And it wasn't anti-woman. It was pro-child. It was pro-child all the time. The children were the most important thing. And the reason that women didn't work when children were little wasn't because they weren't valuable. It was because we were valued in the home, raising the children, which was the priority of everyone, including other mothers. We raised each other's children. Children were the most important thing. And now, children are thrown under the bus. They're just thrown under the bus. And I'll tell you another thing. After Sandy Hook shooting happened in my town, I talked to the shooter and I said, dude, he said, I was just doing what I was supposed to do. I said, what is that supposed to mean? He says, you're drugging and ignoring your children. He didn't say it so powerfully. That's me. It's all me. He said, you're drugging and ignoring your children. That's why we did it. That's why we all got together and we decided to do this thing to get people's attention. It doesn't get anybody's attention in Chicago. It doesn't get anybody's attention in Detroit or Washington or any of these big cities. It doesn't seem, this is from me, but how many black kids, oh my God. Okay, so I went on television twice on this show, Better Connecticut, great show. The hosts are great. Scott, I think, is the male, and Kara. Oh my God, I can't believe I don't remember her name. But anyway, it is so stressful to go on a television show. They have 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes to say all this stuff. So I went on there for All Calm Down, and then I went on there for doTERRA essential oils. Kara's Cure, something like that. Kara's Cure was like this little section where she's awesome, and she works her ass off, and they only give you 5 minutes, so they have to fill their time like this. 5 minutes. It's like, what is the point? Really, what's the point? Just get a taste of all this crap. Everybody's attention span is like this long anymore. So, with the All Calm Down video series, my intention was to help women understand the work of Dr. Bruce H. Lipton, PhD, who said when women are pregnant, their emotions send signals to the developing baby about the outside world. And if it's stressful, if the mom is stressed, even if she's just driving, even if she's just late to work, and she's stressed, the baby forms differently than if the mother is calm. So I knew this stuff because I was into quantum physics, for a while, and then I found Bruce Lipton and Biology of Belief, and he's a really cool, amazing person. He actually got fired from medical school because in his side life, he was cellular biologist, and he was seeing with his own eyes and his own research that what they were teaching in med school was wrong. So he got fired. I don't know where that all is right now, but when women are calm, it sends signals to the baby that it's a safe world, and their frontal lobes are more developed and they're wired for learning. But now we see these kids, and they're all stressed out. They're not. They have ADD, and they have this and they have that. Well, the thing is, through their mother's stress of the modern Western lifestyle, it's normal to be stressed. What the hell is that about? It's not normal to be stressed. It's not. It's not normal to be stressed. You can choose it if you want, but that is not normal. Your body goes through chemical reactions, whether you're happy or sad, whether you're peaceful or stressed. Your body just is your body, okay? It works the way it works. You watch if you watch a horror film, the pictures, the images come in through your eyeballs, and your body reacts to it as if it's happening to you. That's how it happens. You watch shows about drama. I'll never forget when my guidance was you cannot watch The Real Housewives of any county anymore, ever. I was like, oh, I was so disappointed, because I really liked that show. But the reason I liked that show is because it made me feel better about myself. Okay. It is not normal to be stressed. It's not. So, everybody's allowing themselves to take on this new normal of stress, and you gotta fight, and you gotta fight, and you don't have to fight. You know, fighting will happen. If you're married, you're gonna fight. You're gonna have some issues that you need to work out, of course. And I didn't do this video the justice that I wanted to, so I don't know if I'm gonna put it up. But it's not normal to fight. It's not normal to let yourself be put into a stress mode, stress response, and then react, and then try and get away from all that by drinking and by checking out all different ways. You know, this climate hysteria about carbon dioxide, 0.04% of our atmosphere. While we're doing all these things, they've conflated carbon dioxide with pollution. Yes, pollution is a problem. Yes, we can use our resources way better. We can actually be so much more efficient. We have computers now, but we still have government jobs that were around when we used carbon paper. Carbon paper, like before copiers. I mean, this is not normal. This is not normal. You don't have to let this be your normal. You know, I happen to like meditating. I happen to love the law of attraction. But the reason I got into it was to keep from having panic attacks. You don't have to be a victim. It doesn't serve you. Stop.